We're on the air. What's up, everybody? It is the Dark Conservatarian, and I am here with a good old friend of mine named JJ Skinner, also known as the Crusader. Say hi, Crusader.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, and so protests down in Chemnitz, Germany, a shooting that went down in Birmingham, Alabama, and I also have a couple of other interesting articles to go right after those two stories. So let's get right into it. So, JJ, what all have you heard about the Chemnitz protests? I mean, I know I asked you while we were off air, but still.
I just heard it had so far from what I heard, it's just like apparently the German Chemnitz protesters are going up against the far right or something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know where the battle lines are drawn. This is why that I'm trying to like research on it before I try to make a solid opinion on it. Um, I mean, supposedly, I mean, I heard somebody comment that these news articles are mislabeling some of the protesters as far right when really they're not far right. But the thing is, I cannot find a single article that does not call at least one of the groups of protesters far right. So I'm just gonna try to like give the benefit of the doubt to the internet news sites. But anyway, far right clashes. Chemnitz protests. Where is Chemnitz? When did Daniel H. die? Who is accused of his murder? And are most protests planned? Several people were injured mid ugly scenes in Chemnitz as angry mob waved placards which read "Stop the refugee flood" and shouted Nazi slogans. Well, that's already looking kind of bad for the protesters if they're screaming things like "blood and soil" that reminds people of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Except a little bit of a difference there because Charlottesville protesters, I think it was I think they were just shouting for like ethnic cleansing or something along those lines. Anyway, this they're just shouting for the ceasing of immigration. Yeah. Hundreds of far right protesters clashed with cops in the Chemnitz after a man was allegedly stabbed to death by immigrants. Here's what we know about the protests, which sparked violence in the German city. Okay, so originally I thought that this whole stabbing situation happened during the protests, but no, apparently the stabbing sparked the protests. Um, Hundreds of far right protesters clashed violently with police in the German city of Chemnitz, and this is a rather unsightly article that keeps on that has popped up on the side here. Just a whole bunch of weird articles on the side. Chemnitz is situated in eastern Germany as third largest city in the state of Saxony. Germany has states like the U.S. does. Nobody hardly talks about them. The city is nestled in the foothills of the Ore Mountains. It was known as Karl Marx Stadt from 1953 to 1990. Okay. It still has an enormous monument to the communist philosopher that was its former namesake and has a population of around 246,000. The mob chanted Nazi slogans and made sick salutes. Okay, I just want to say right off the bat that uh, these supposed salutes, especially the guy on the left, those look like sloppy salutes. I mean, if they are trying to do Nazi salutes, they're doing a real bad job at it.
Yeah, because the arm's supposed to be straight, not bent.
Yeah, and it's like supposed to be more forward reaching, isn't it? These guys look like they're just like they're reaching up to the sky, like literally almost straight up. In fact, like they're trying to grab somebody's attention. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, if I was to like not get any context behind the photo, I would not be able to tell if these guys are making Nazi salutes. In all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
What were the protests? At least 6 were injured in ugly scenes on the streets of Chemnitz as the angry mob waved placards reading "Stop the refugee flood" while yelling Nazi slogans on August 28th. Can you please quote us some of those Nazi slogans? I mean, that would be kind of helpful for us, please.
Yeah.
Excuse me. All right. Tensions were at a boiling point in the German city after a man was reportedly knifed by foreigners. Yeah, I mean, tensions were kind of building up ever since you had the whole immigration situation with Germany. I mean, rising rape statistics and so on and so forth. The protesters lit flares, held up flags supporting neo Nazi NPD parties, and chanted historic phrases associated with Adolf Hitler's supporters, including Lügenpresse, meaning lying press. What?
Huh?
Lying press. I mean, if I was to say that some press, some news organization was lying, that's somehow associated with Adolf Hitler's supporters? I don't get it. Oh, I mean, you need something a little bit more damning that is a little bit more racially motivated and Nazi-esque than just calling out a lying news organization.
What
Okay.
in what the actual fuck?
Ah, crap. Sorry, got a phone call for a moment there. I'm going to just silence my phone. All
All
right.
right.
But enchanted, historic phrases associated with Adolf Hitler's supporters, including Lügenpresse, meaning lying press. I mean, I don't know. Police also had to keep them apart from around 1,000 left-wing protesters who yelled Nazis out. Okay. I mean, I agree with Nazis out, but the question is, are these people actually Nazis? Lying press, that's not really damning evidence to say that they are Nazis. Chancellor Angela Merkel said she condemned the groups in the strongest possible terms and that Germany would not tolerate vigilante justice. Okay, I mean, I'm just going to comment on this very quickly. I mean, if you have like maybe the Nazis like back in the 1930s and 40s they did say lying press. Maybe they're just repeating the same phrase that was once uttered in past history, but that does not necessarily mean that the protesters believe in things like um, eugenics and concentration camps and just wiping out the Jews and so on and so forth. About 6,000 people took part in the far-right demonstration and 1,000 in a rival anti-fascist rally, police said. Anti-fascist. Is that Antifa involved? Well, imagine my shock.
Good lord.
Thousands of thousands of far-right protesters clashed with cops in ugly scenes in Chemnitz, as it shows here. When did Daniel H. die? The victim of the alleged immigrant attack was named only as Daniel H. It remains unclear what triggered Sunday's fight in which the 35-year-old carpenter was fatally stabbed. Two other German men with him, aged 33 and 38, were seriously hurt, police say. A woman who grew up with Daniel H. Nancy Larson told Douche Well News that media misreporting had helped fuel the horrible far-right protest. Hello, Red Feather, what's up? She said it's sad that in the media they're just saying that a German has died, and that's why all the neo-Nazis and hooligans are out. But the media should describe who died and what skin color he had. Okay, because I don't think they'd be doing all this if they knew. I mean, if they knew for certain that that Daniel H was a non-white, but yet they're still protesting against immigrants who ended up stabbing their non-white fellow German citizen, well, then isn't that evidence that it's not really racially motivated, but more like a nationalist motivation to it? I mean, that doesn't make it Nazi-esque if there's nationalism involved. I mean, not by itself, anyways.
Yeah.
Not much, just enjoying Labor Day off. How are you guys? I'm doing pretty good, Red Feather. Who is accused of his murder? An Iraqi man, age 22, and a Syrian man, age 23, have been arrested on suspicion of killing Daniel H. The eastern state of Saxony, where Chemnitz is located, has long been a hotbed of anti-migrant sentiment. Alternative for Germany, a far-right party, received almost a quarter of the vote in Chemnitz last year. Police are still evaluating video footage and called for any witnesses to the violence to come forward. Okay. Oh, okay. So there is more to this article. I thought that was the end of the article for a second there. How much longer does this go? Just out of curiosity. Oh.
That ass.
Dad ass though. um are more protests planned? I think this is the end of the article right here. More far-right demonstrations have been planned for September 1st since in Chemnitz, with the Alternative for German Party as one of the organizers. Additional police are expected to be brought in from other areas of Germany. Other counter-protests in Berlin have also taken place. Red Feather says in the chat, it has nothing to do with nationalism. It has to do with attempting to stop a crime. Well, what I was meaning by nationalism was being against reckless, unbridled immigration was what I was meaning to imply in that, not nationalism as in I hate anybody that comes from outside of the country. I mean, the narrative that I am generally getting from the stories is that there is something associated with the immigration in why these Chemnitz protests are happening, Red Feather. But what do you not agree with that narrative? Like, do you call bullcrap on that or something? Just out of curiosity. All right. So what do you have to say so far, JJ?
Personally, there's a reason I stay out of like foreign politics because it's just like we don't get the full story like we do with American issues.
Right. I mean, that one last article was kind of vague in the reporting from the Sun. I don't know if I'll ever go back to the Sun knowing of how vague this article was,
Yeah, it
but
was like very vague.
I got something from the Express right here, which we'll read next. Red Feather says, I meant this particular situation. Okay. Um, I don't know. Maybe there were like multiple protests, and the first protest that happened right after Daniel H. was only associated with protesting against the stabbing, as the stabbing of Daniel H. got kind of sensationalized across German media. And then there's like multiple protests after that were more and more associated with immigration. I don't know. But let's read on. Red Feather also says, yes, because they are saying the people who tried to stop them are neo-Nazis or some shit. I think they would have tried to stop a citizen as well if they were trying to assault someone. Yeah, I'm not fully convinced that these people are neo-Nazis or Nazis because all that they have as far as Nazi slogans go is lying press, which, by the way, I would call CNN lying press. But does that mean that suddenly I'm associated with like a almost long gone psychopathic party during that that ruled Germany during World War II and almost conquered all of Europe?
I
I
think
would think not.
not.
Yeah, yeah. Um, as
The same can be said about Fox News. They are, lying press as well.
right. As Bernie from The Incredibles once said, I think not. You know, according to the left, yes, says Red Feather. All right, it is volatile. A German mayor issues state of emergency as Chemnitz violence escalates. I do not know if this particular article is going to give more information into the motive behind the protests themselves, or if it's just giving out details as to what is happening in response to these protests. Let's see if how long this article is. Is that Merkel? Or no, that's not Merkel. I think. Oh, it's kind of a short article too. Damn.
Shocker.
I need to like find some better articles on the Chemnitz protests or something. Thousands of people have joined both the anti-migrant protests and counter-protests in Chemnitz amid escalating tension in the East German city, with 11 people hospitalized so far. The German city, okay, close that. Thank you. The German city of Chemnitz has been the epicenter of fierce clashes for the past week, where anti-migrant protests and counter-protests continue to escalate. Thousands have marched through the streets following the arrest of an Iraqi and a Syrian man over the fatal stabbing of Daniel Hillig, a 35-year-old German Cuban. Okay, so the guy like was immigrated from Cuba, and I think that with what these protests are going on, that they're protesting over this stabbing, using it as like a wedge issue to say no more immigration. I would think that there is not much of a racial motivation here, unless these supposed neo-Nazis consider Cubans to be white as well. This
Oh
attack
Lord.
This attack has sparked an outbreak of violence and demonstrations, largely directed at Angela Merkel's handling of the 2015 migrant crisis. More than 1,200 police officers have been drafted in to secure the city after 9 people were injured in clashes yesterday. Chemnitz Mayor Barbara Ludwig has spoken up against the far-right demonstrations and urged Germany to defeat the anti-migrant sentiment. She told Sky News on Sunday, "The situation is volatile. There is also a state of emergency in the town. I'm convinced that it'll mobilize forces as we see today that very clearly show that we won't allow for the right and right wing." Oh, hello, Conundrum. What's up?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
we
can
can
hear you
hear
now.
you.
Good.
I'm convinced that it'll mobilize forces as we see today that very clearly show that we won't allow for the right and right-wing thinking to undermine the state. According to police in Chemnitz, around 9,500 people took part in a series of demonstrations on Friday. You know what's undermining the state is an overabunding, overwhelming influx of migrants to the point that your crime skyrockets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A large-scale silent march took place yesterday in protest against Chancellor Merkel's policies. The far-right protesters, okay, far right. I'm getting tired of hearing that. Held large portraits of victims of attacks which they allege were done by asylum seekers. In response, around 3,500 marched in support of Mrs. Merkel's policy, holding banners reading "Chemnitz is neither gray nor brown." Okay, that would be kind of racially motivated. I mean, I guess there might be some people in the protests that are involved that do not really know of the racial ethnicity of Mr. Hillig, but yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean that the entirety of the protests is all racially motivated. Kind of a bit of a guilt by association, I would say.
Yeah.
Foreign Minister Heiko Maas voiced his support for those marching against the far-right supporters. The Second World War started 79 years ago. Germany caused unimaginable suffering in Europe. If once again people are parading today in the streets making Nazi salutes, our past history forces us to resolutely defend democracy. All right, so the rise of the Nazi Party would be one of the contributing reasons as to why that World War II happened. But the difference here is that during World War II, you had a hatred for their own citizens that were already in the country, that being more specifically Jews and other non-whites during the time. But here,
and undesirables.
What?
And undesirables.
Right, like the disabled?
Disabled, gay.
Oh, right. I mean, I guess I'm kind of forgetting those people as well that Nazi Germany wanted to eradicate from Germany as well. But in this context right here, it is more of a protest against an over-influx in immigrations. And yes, somewhat to a certain extent, there is racial motivation to it as well. But that ain't the whole thing. Red Feather says in the chat, I would be right there marching with them. It's not the immigrants that is the issue. It's the fact that they say that immigrants can adapt to the society. And then when something like this happens, as well, they don't understand the culture. When a citizen committing the same crime would be jailed. All right. Thanks for your 2 cents, Red Feather. All right. So have any of you heard about this shooting in Birmingham, Alabama? I saw Dead Kyle share an article like it in one of our Twitter group chats, and I thought I'd read about it.
No,
So what
I
do you
didn't hear about this on Sunday
Neither
night.
did I.
You did hear about it on Sunday, Conundrum?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
didn't.
Okay.
No, I did not.
I see. Well, okay. This from ABC on Sunday, September 2nd. 7 injured in downtown Birmingham shooting. This is a fairly short article as well. These are just we're just rapid firing at this point. Birmingham, Alabama. 7 people were shot in downtown Birmingham Sunday night outside of Workplay Theater. The shooting unfolded just before 10 p.m. as the party hosted by a high school fraternity was coming to an end. Police say the incident started as a fight inside of the party. The altercation spilled outside, and that's when shots were fired. Police tell ABC 3340 all of the victims are between the ages of 15 and 20. All victims are expected to recover from their injuries. Most of those injuries were bystanders. Police say one of the victims was later taken into custody and is being held as a suspect. Alan Baker breaking. Birmingham police and Birmingham fire on the scene of a shooting on 5th Avenue South near workplace. I'm told that 6 people were transported with gunshot wounds and 1 with an injury. Birmingham police ask that parents pick their kids up at 6th Avenue South and 23rd Street. Stay tuned for the latest. And yeah, that's it. So Birmingham police initially said there were 6 shooting victims, but now say there is a total of 7. Okay, so
Damn.
so all right, so thank God that it was like only injuries and no deaths, or at least did you guys pick up on me reading this that there were any deaths? I cannot remember.
There is no deaths.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so as well. But sometimes I have like a bit of a flaw when I read that I'll sometimes not be paying attention to what I am reading. I mean, it's a big time flaw with me in reading. This is why I don't read a whole lot of books, honestly. No, I haven't heard of this either, says Red Feather. I see. It would have been best if it didn't happen in the first place, but thank God it was only injuries and no deaths.
Yeah, thankfully.
Thankfully.
Muslim American woman sues U.S. border cops. I've been holding this article for a little while, and now I'm finally getting to it. And I thought this is kind of interesting right here. I mean, in today's climate, racially motivated, well, I guess to a certain extent, racially motivated climate, and when immigration is also one of the hotbed topics of the day. Muslim American woman sues U.S. border cops. Give me back my seized iPhone's data. Legal action seeks info. Okay, legal action seeks info copied during airport search. An American woman is suing the U.S. government's Homeland Security and Customs and Border Protection to get the data border agents copied from her phone. Rayan, however you pronounce that, Rajani Lazoya. I'm going to be butchered. I butchered that real bad.
Don't give yourself a stroke.
Said that when she landed at Newark Liberty International Airport on February 26th, after a 9-hour transatlantic flight, she was subjected to a secondary screening by CBP agents who, over the course of the inspection, seized her iPhone 6S Plus. And I wonder of where is the jurisdiction for them to be doing that. I mean, just going off of the surface of the story, I'm just wondering of what was their justification. That's another reason why I wanted to like read this article. So, because I'm thinking to myself, maybe there is a case where people trying to enforce immigration laws or traveling laws are going a little bit too far, but who knows?
Yeah.
While the phone was returned to Lazoya in July, her attorneys want to know what data was copied. Believing the search to have been illegal, she is now suing the CBP to have any copied data from the phone returned to her as personal property. The seizure, retention, and any sharing of her property without reasonable suspicion, probable cause, or warrant have violated Miss Lazoya's rights under the 4th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and are at odds with recent Supreme Court holdings as well as District Court and Court of Appeals decisions scrutinizing CBP's practices of seizing digital storage devices without a warrant. The filing PDF reads. I have to say that within just reading that paragraph right there, I would say that the traveling officials, they were kind of unjustified in this, violating the 4th Amendment and her right to privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless there is some more context to it added within later in this article, but we shall see.
Unless there was probable cause, there was no need to take her phone.
Red Feather says, my iPhone data. I don't even own an iPhone. Red Feather, Maybe they suspected illegal activity. I haven't read that so far in this article, Red Feather. I mean, I have to like disagree with you as I am so far reading this article that there is a bit of a violation of the right to privacy and Fourth Amendment. Just going off of that paragraph, anyways. The filing notes that Lozoya, who is a Muslim American citizen, and by the way, this is from the Register, so this is not like, I mean, I don't know much about the Register, I'm going to be honest, but as far as I know, they are fairly unbiased. Okay, I cannot make a mature opinion about them like I can of The Guardian and Mother Jones and other internet news sites like that. But the Register, as far as I know, I'm just going to be by default say that they're somewhat reliable. It's not like that they have some far left bias or far right bias or something or other. The filing notes that Lozoya, who is a Muslim American citizen and wears a hijab, had communications on the phone with attorneys of the Council on American Islamic Relations. Those conversations would be considered privileged communications. At the time she was stopped, the Trump administration was cracking down on Muslim people traveling into the States. My question is she from like one of the 6 countries that the Muslim travel ban, or not even Muslim travel ban, but just travel ban. Is she from one of the 6 countries that the travel ban affects? In addition to any, because if she wasn't from one of those countries, then I would say that they are completely unjustified and out of their jurisdiction. In addition to any copies made of the data, Lozoya is seeking an assurance from the CBP that all the data has been deleted from their systems and any third parties such as other law enforcement agencies that may have been given access to the data. Lozoya's lawyers note that the recent court decisions in the Carpenter v. United States and Riley v. California cases support their argument that in Lozoya's case, there was not adequate reason to search the phone's data and SIM card in the first place, let alone hold it for more than 150 days without turning it over to Lozoya and her attorneys. No such suspicion of ongoing or imminent criminal activity existed in the case of Miss Lozoya, giving rise to reasonable suspicion to search and seize her property, the filing reads. Consequently, neither was there probable cause nor warrant. Therefore, the search and seizure of Ms. Lozoya's property violated her rights under the Fourth Amendment. The case, Lozoya v. Nielsen, is currently being heard in a New Jersey U.S. District Court. End of article. I mean, yeah, I guess Red Feather, I guess that the people, the travel officials, they did suspect some illegal activity, but they were out of their jurisdiction, and there was like no evidence of criminal activity within this case. She also says, it does seem strange they would target her for absolutely no reason, but it happens. Yeah, I'm going to say that the officials that seized her phone right there, they were unjustified. I'm not going to go so far to say that there was like a, that they were being racist, because that's not me, but
yeah, because you're not a crazy liberal.
Yeah, I mean, just accusations of bigotry, that's not me. I'm rather reservist on that. So what do you two think of that story?
I think it was fucked up.
Same.
Oh, well, fucked up might be a little bit too strong of a story, because, hey, at least no one got hurt.
Well, not fucked up, but unnecessary. And
it did cause her some
unconstitutional.
Yeah. It did cause some very unnecessary headache, in my opinion. And yes, it was unconstitutional going off of the article. All right, so this from Washington Examiner. Senate Republicans made a threat and Democrats called their bluff yet again. The reason why I wanted to like point out this article is because I remember like during the Obama years that Republicans would have kept on. I mean, okay, note here that I am not like some Republican Party loyalist, and I do not support Republicans on everything, but they would keep on buckling to Obama on a whole lot of things, like especially when it came to Obamacare, like the fight over it in late 2013, when they kept on backpedaling on their demands during the government shutdown on what is to be done about Obamacare. All right. Yeah. And I just wanted to read this because it would be even more evidence of Republicans being spineless, or at least being gullible, or made a threat, and Democrats, or I guess not necessarily spineless or gullible, but more like the Democrats outwitted them.
Shocker.
Red Feather says too many rhinos. Yes, Red Feather. Senate. By the way, have you guys ever heard of the term rhino? R-I-N-O.
No.
No.
That's Republican in name only.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. And then there's like another term called dino, which means Democrat in name only.
Too many rhinos and dinos.
Too many rhino. I would say too many rhinos and not enough dinos. Like I would want somebody. Okay, Red Feather also says, AKA John McCain.
True.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, okay. So let's just get on with it. Senate Republicans have a problem. They can't commit, and their inability to follow through makes it harder to enact their legislative agenda. It also delays unnecessarily Senate action on President Trump's nominations. For example, take Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's, Republican Kentucky, recent threat to keep the Senate in session through the end of the month that Democrats persisted in their efforts to delay confirmation votes on 17 nominees. Specifically, McConnell warned his colleagues that the Senate will continue to work right through August until every single one of them is confirmed. Okay, I want to comment on that. I mean, I do not remember this specific story, but I remember like Senate or then Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid kept Senate in Congress, that he kept his foot down on keeping Senate in Congress more than McConnell is showing to be in this statement right here. Majority Whip, so that's like a piece of evidence of how Harry Reid has more spine than McConnell, or had more spine when he was still in office. Majority Whip John Cornyn, Republican of Texas, echoed McConnell's threat and warned Democrats that it wasn't a bluff. To any of our Democratic colleagues, I can guarantee we will be here in session next week because this is important. This is important work to get these judges processed. I think this story like comes just right before Labor Day. So yeah, August 30th, 2018. I see. So this is a bit of an old article. This is like them trying to get some work done before the Labor Day weekend began, and they went off on, the long weekend. But unfortunately, they haven't. Republicans intended their threat to persuade Democrats to stop obstructing Trump's nominees by making such behavior costly. Republicans expected Democrats to drop their objections to scheduling up or down confirmation votes so that the Senate could leave town before the end of August. Yet when things didn't turn out as they expected, Republicans, whatever that word is, acquiesced. I don't know how to pronounce that. Never mind. To leaving town without confirming the nominees at the center of their dispute with Democrats. In doing so, they delayed the confirmation of 6 of the judicial nominees they wanted to confirm before the end of August. In short, Republicans backed down. They made a commitment and then failed to follow through when it appeared that their threat wasn't going to work as intended. Yeah, you're just proving yourself of why that people don't want you in Congress anymore, Republicans. Nice job.
Yep.
This episode is a good illustration of why Republicans can't make the Senate work despite having a majority of its members. And it highlights how Republican leaders inadvertently make it easier for Democrats to obstruct their party's agenda in the chamber. But the Republican situation isn't hopeless. They can learn from this latest mishap how to better play the legislative game. The Oxford English Dictionary defines commitment as an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. In legislative bargaining, the majority party can persuade members of the minority that it is in their interest to relent in their obstruction, and that failure to do so will result in retaliatory action that will subject them to even greater costs. In the example above, Republicans tried to persuade Democrats to relent in their obstruction of Trump's nominees by threatening to keep the Senate in session through the end of August. Their goal in doing so was to limit the Democrats' choices by raising the costs of continued delay. Okay. Red Feather is telling me of how this this word is pronounced. Acquiesced. All right.
So you did get it right the second time.
Thank you, Red Feather. But such threats only work if members of the minority believe that the majority will follow through on its threats if they don't change their behavior. And that did not work, obviously. Absent a credible commitment to do so, the minority will not take the majority's threats seriously. In other words, Democrats had to believe that Republicans were committed to keeping the Senate in session if they continued to obstruct President Trump's nominees. Republicans can make their commitments more credible in two ways: procedural and reputational. First, they can commit to carrying out the threat in such a way that leaves them no choice but to follow through in the event that Democrats don't relent. To that end, their commitment must be unambiguous and involve specified retaliatory actions in order to be persuasive. Second, Republicans may establish a precedent of credible commitment that with their past behavior. This is because a party's past actions signal a determination to carry out future threats and thus makes the party's commitment more credible. Yeah, and Republicans do not exactly have a reputation of being strong in their threats, so that there would be no signal of a determination to carry out future threats in the Republican Party's case. Red Feather also says in the chat, it means accept reluctantly, but without protest. Okay. Thank you, Red Feather. A party's reputation suggests that how future conflicts are resolved depends in part on how past conflicts were resolved. 1 second here. Just wanted to take another drink of my coffee there. What are you guys thinking so far? Do you just have no comment?
I had no comment.
Same. Other than I have to agree with you. Republicans, we need less Republicans.
At least less of the caliber of Republicans that we are getting right now. Like, what I think should be done is either, it would be great if the Libertarian Party could take over as an alternative. Like, in the same way that the Republicans replaced the Whigs back during the Civil War era. It would be nice if Libertarians overtook Republicans as the alternative party to Democrats. Then Libertarians would be like kicking butt all the way. They would be winning over some liberals on the social side and also keeping Republicans on the economic side of issues.
Yep.
Either that or the Republican Party just needs new members all around. Red Feather says, LOL, I thought that was my phone. I think that was Conundrum's phone.
It was.
I'm still getting ready for something for Labor Day.
Right.
I'm only here for about 5 more minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I have plans at about 5 p.m. I wasn't going to be like super long with this episode of Strike Force anyways. But this is like the last article. I mean, unless, JJ, you think that I ought to keep on going on because, yeah, I know that this kind of stuff, like DC politics, seems kind of boring, and I mean, I don't think it would be like anything that would really pique you guys' interest.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Republicans got the first part right. McConnell's threat to keep the Senate in session through the end of August was unambiguous, and Cornyn guaranteed, quote unquote, that Republicans were determined to follow through. Yeah, that guarantee is an empty guarantee. To reinforce their commitment procedurally, McConnell took the extra step of filing cloture on the 17 nominations in question. In doing so, he committed the Senate to vote on each one according to a schedule determined by its rules. But Republicans forgot about the second condition. For better or worse, the Republicans' reputation on these matters is ultimately determined by their past behavior. Right, just espousing of what I said earlier of how their threats would be empty, going off by their own reputation. Oh, see you later. See you later, Conundrum. I almost said his first name. I don't know of how much he cares if I was to accidentally say his first name, but still. The origin of Labor Day is interesting, says Red Feather. Okay. For better or worse, the Republican... Oh, I already read that part. And the way in which they resolve past standoffs has influenced how Democrats expect them to behave in the future. Repeatedly backing down from coercive threats in response to aggressive behavior has established a pattern that leads Democrats to expect such behavior to continue in future standoffs. This suggests that delaying 6 of the judicial nominees in question until after Labor Day will make it harder for Republicans to make credible commitments in the future. Much is conceded when a party makes concessions to resolve conflict or otherwise fails to respond to aggression in the expected way. The impact of concessions on expectations suggests that it is difficult for a party to extricate itself from a commitment without undermining, its positive vis-a-vis the opposing party. A party's goal in the bargaining process is to end the conflict in a way that does not encourage the other party to reevaluate its expectations of how that party will behave in similar situations in the future. As such, it is important that when a party is not able to carry out its threats, that its leaders be able to explain any behavior that may otherwise be interpreted as backing down. In sum, successfully backing down from a threatened action requires an excuse. Absent that, McConnell never should have made the threat in the first place. Yeah, never made the threat in the first place because he's proven himself to not be able to hold true to his threats. And you just make the threat again, you're just going to make yourself look even less credible.
Yep.
Especially if you weren't planning to hold it through in the first place. It's not too late for Republicans to turn things around, but they are running out of time to learn the value of commitment. End of article. And I agree with that last paragraph right there. All right. So I don't know. I think I might just call it a day on this. Looking through my notes here. Actually, let me turn off screen share. Looking through my notes here to see if there's anything else. Oh, actually, there is this one article that I think would more pique your interest, and that is the title of it goes 10-year-old transgender boy is starting a dating website for trans children.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, and the reason why I kind of had this this article in limbo was more in response to a tweet that War Corps had put out. Because I thought he was being kind of off base, because ultimately we might find ourselves to disagree with this article, but at the same time, he was calling it an open door to pedophilia. And I was thinking to myself, like, where is the pedophilia? Like, is it involved that adults will be exposing themselves to kids and so on and so forth? Like, if that was the case, then it would be an open door to pedophilia. But as far as I can tell, the closest you could say, just by going off of the title alone here, let me screen share it. Just by going off the title alone, the closest you could say is that it opens the door for child pornography, not pedophilia.
And plus, why do children need to be dating?
Well, actually, yeah, that is a good question. Like, I would hold the rule that you should wait until like you're 16. That at least for my kids, anyways.
Yeah, 15 or 16 is a good age.
Red Feather says 10-year-old dating, that pisses me off. I don't care if they are trans or not. Pedos would definitely flock to that site, said Red Feather. Oh.
They'd find a way, that's true.
Oh, wait, with that statement that Red Feather made, that would kind of... Oh, man. That would kind of, in a way, open the door to pedophilia, which in that case, Google it is going to call me a transphobe for that.
Exactly.
Because I was kind of giving the benefit of the doubt to some of the leftists within our circles that were calling War Corps a transphobe for that. I mean, I don't think that War Corps is a transphobe at all, but I thought he was being off base with his original commentary. But, oh my gosh.
These pictures just make me want to vomit.
Yeah. Are you ready to handle the torture, JJ?
Might as well.
Nothing like being a good old culture warrior, right? They already pretend to be children online as it is, says Red Feather. Oh, God, Red
that
Feather
is also very true.
gonna make me sick, Red Feather. I'm gonna puke up my Joe right here.
Ugh. I hate the taste of coffee anyway.
I'm a big time coffee drinker myself, but anyway, let's get on with this. How correct was War Corpse in saying that this opens the door for pedophilia? We shall see. 10-year-old transgender boy is starting a dating website for trans children. This from neonnettle.com, which I never heard of the website ever, but just going off of the title alone, that is a rather hipster title alone of the of the name of the website. I'm sorry, man. I wish I were joking, says Red Feather. I'm sure you
It's
did.
not a joke. It actually is true. That happens a lot.
Oh, shit. A 10-year-old transgender boy says he is founding the world's first dating site for transgender children.
You don't even need to be transgendering at that age. You need... Personally, I think you should wait till you're 18 before you transition, just in case, that's what you want to do with the rest of your life.
Right. I mean, I'm going to say that it's one thing if a kid was to, like, be dressing up in clothing that is typical of the opposite gender, but I definitely don't think they should be getting hormone treatment or anything that would be of post-op surgery. I mean, because that is more permanent than dressing up in makeup like a girl. Oh man.
I mean, the worst that would happen is that your friends film you and then they laugh at you when you get older.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that in a way that would be kind of a permanent effect right there, but it's not as permanent and damaging as if you were to get like physical treatment for transgender procedure.
Yes. I'm just saying, it's like you could look back and laugh at yourself.
Okay, Red Feather asks, is that the Lactatia kid or the other trans boy? Yeah, it does kind of look like Lactatia. I mean, I know you're not all too fond of Gemini, honestly, JJ, but I think I saw one of Gemini's video before making a response to this one trans boy, drag queen, whatever he was calling himself, that was named Lactatia and was being...
I saw that kid, and I'm just like, my God.
I think this might be the same kid, but we shall see. Dressing up, fine. No medical treatment, though. I mean, the drugs mess up adults because the research on it is not thorough enough yet, says Red Feather. All right. Yeah, but those adults, they are of consenting age, and they can go ahead and take those unstable drugs if they want to. I mean, that's my belief as a libertarian.
Yep.
Desmond Napoles, a.k.a. Desmond is Amazing, is launching the new website that aims to encourage kids to switch genders in an online drag club. Wait, what? Encourage kids?
Why would you want to encourage? You want to... Now, I get it. If they're questioning whether they're female, sure. But if you're trying to encourage them, even if they didn't have those beliefs, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, are you trying to... What do you mean by encourage? You're trying to encourage kids that are accepting of themselves being a boy if they're a boy, or accepting of themselves of being a girl if they're a girl? Are you trying to convince, cisgendered kids to want to become trans? I don't get it. Why? Just why? Are you feeling lonely out here in the world? Is that why you're wanting to encourage it? Jeez. Get a hobby. The House of the Haas, Haus, Haas, house, have you pronounced that, of Amazing site will be a no parent zone.
No, nope.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I mean, you're gonna have like parents pretending to be these trans kids. They're going to like have they're gonna be hiding behind anime profile pics.
Or worse.
Oh, yeah. Designed to invite gender fluid and trans-curious minors into an encouraging and safe online community for drag kids to connect with each other.
Gender fluid isn't a thing, and trans-curious, I guess, is a thing, but really, gender fluid kids?
Oh, okay. We got this one guy from Germany, I guess, who says Germany is lost. Greetings from Berlin. Okay, well, Mr. AFD FPO OVP Europa, well, you're too late. We have already passed by the stories talking about the Chemnitz protests. Now we are talking about transgender children dating sites.
Red Feather said, "Oh, for fuck's sake, leave the kids alone."
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to take a shower after reading this site from feeling so dirty.
I think I'm gonna need to take 2 showers.
Okay. According to a promotional flyer for the news site, it has been established exclusively for kids who are doing amazing drag. Okay. Yeah.
Amazing drag.
Amazing drag. Yeah. Well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Oh, what the fuck? The site's admin will approve all applicants manually and block access from parents or children who sign up using the offensive born gender.
To ensure the drag kids feel safe to express themselves.
What? Offensive? Really? Offensive born gender.
So, in other words, it's exclusionary from quote-unquote cisgender people, which obviously, as a libertarian, I believe that you can do whatever you want with your private property. And in this case, your dating site is your private property. If you want to exclude cisgender people, then that is fine in my book. But just...
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to interact with them anyway if I was a kid.
And, you know, there's actually, you know what, JJ? There's actually conservative dating sites. 27 embarrassing moments captured by cameras. I just got a question. How is this embarrassing right here? I see a bombshell of a girl right here.
Yeah, true. Well, I guess it's clickbait.
Probably so, yeah.
But seriously, that dude or that kid, I guess, because male, female, gender fluid, whatever he wants to be called.
Shit. Red Feather says, I'm gonna go whip up some Tide Pod and bleach cereal. Oh Lord, I hope an admin is an officer of the law. Actually, that would be helpful. Like, get yourself a police officer involved to like avoid pedophilia, at least, please, or an investigator, a hacker. Like a hacker that works for the law that can like okay, actually no, I don't know if a hacker would be a good idea, but like a techno wizard of a tech wizard of some kind to try and, you know, make sure that these accounts are not parents, that they're just kids. Okay, no thanks. Get 4chan on it, says Red Feather. Okay. I have a feeling that this website has wants to have nothing to do with 4chan. But anyway, Trump regret syndrome is spreading like a wildfire.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I would not blame those Trump supporters. I mean, look at the look on that guy's face.
He's like, who the fuck did I vote for?
Okay. So anyway, pulling through, Desmond Napoles has been dressing in drag since he was a toddler after his mother declared him gender neutral as a baby.
See, that's the problem with the people being in charge of gender neutral babies. That kind of shit happens.
A Daily Mail report said, okay. He says he was always taught that using your born gender is wrong. Wait, what?
What?
Is there a term called cisphobia out there?
Because if there's cisphobia, which I believe there is, this is a prime example of it.
Okay, Red Feather says LMAO, Trump derangement syndrome, and babies.
Oh yeah, the babies thing. I'm just like, kill me.
Okay, and as always, worn girls' clothing, but confessed that he has never tried wearing boys' clothes. Okay, well, that's your life, but I do not see how that is an argument for how using your born gender is wrong. I am proud in the body that I am right now. Thank you. I'm
Yeah, so
not
am I.
ashamed to say that I am a male. His family introduced him to the gay scene from an early age, and he has gained fame on the New York drag circuit as his drag alter ego Desmond is amazing. Ever since day one, ever since I was able to walk, I used to take my mom's towels and take her heels and clomp around the house. Napoli said, "Oh man." Put the towel on my head, wrap a towel around my body, and walk the runway down my house. Runway? Like you got a catwalk or something? I don't know. I don't care.
He might have fallen from that catwalk, considering how crazy I think he is.
At age 6, his parents began dressing him up in princess costumes and dresses, the report said. Oh.
This is the problem with the with this kind of mindset. You're fucking up the kids that don't know if they're male or female.
I got a question though. Are they like forcing the kid to dress up as a girl?
It sounds like it to me.
I mean, they aren't outright saying that they are unconsensually forcing him to dress up in princess costumes. But if that were the case, well, then that borderlines on child abuse.
Well, they did say that using his born name is offensive or like wrong.
Right.
So maybe they kind of brainwashed the kid. Oh God, Momo.
What? That?
Yeah, Momo. Nope.
I mean, I got a question. Aren't the parents like cisgendered? I mean, if this is the kid that Gemini responded to, well, then I remember seeing the two parents, and the mother was like some Boldyke looking biker chick that was wearing an anti-Nazi patch on her arm, trying to gain brownie points from that. And the dude was rocking a pretty good beard, I would say, but with the attitude that he was having towards all this, I have a feeling that he does not earn that beard. He doesn't rightfully own that beard.
Okay, Red Feather says, I don't get why such a young child should be so worried about things of a sexual nature. In my opinion, child abuse. I can see that. And she also said, he does a little turn on the catwalk. I blame right, said Fred.
Okay. Also, speaking of child abuse, have you ever heard of little like practical newborns, like babies getting their ears pierced?
Okay, yeah, that's child abuse without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, apparently it's a regular thing, and I just cannot help but feel my stomach churn when I saw a video of some parents like getting their little 6-month-old's ears pierced, I think it was.
Yeah, that's child abuse without a shadow of a doubt.
Like, it's one thing for you to like get your kids circumcised, like maybe you're a Jew, a Judaist, and you think that it is essential to your religion or health reasons, or
I personally think that circumcision is uncalled for.
Okay. Maybe somebody can make the case to me, but okay, here's a more solid example. Like getting tetanus shots or some other, or
yes,
vaccines or something or other, like little baby needles for the babies so that you can like try and keep them healthy. That's one thing. But earrings, freaking earrings, you're sticking a needle in their ear for an item that is essentially a luxury. Earrings are luxury. They are not a need. And if you're like forcing your kid to get ears piercings at an age before they're even able to consent or even speak for that matter, then that, in my opinion, comes to child abuse. I mean, the obviously not the whole world thinks it's child abuse. I mean, I talked to some people in my personal life. Hey, what the fuck is up with this shit? And they said that they think it's stupid, but they don't necessarily think that it's child abuse. So I'm not. maybe I am overreacting, but I still can't help but feel down in my gut and heart that it is child abuse.
Yeah, Red Feather said, yes, it's so dumb. Yet they say you should ask consent to change a diaper. Yep,
Oh, good Lord.
that is a real thing.
As consent from your unable to speak and unable to think baby. Wow.
And Red Feather also said, my mom didn't let me get ears pierced until I was 11.
Okay. Well, at least you're able to somewhat think for yourself and speak at that age, Red Feather. But 6 months old? 6 months old? Anyway, getting away from earrings and getting back to transgender dating sites. His parents consulted the doctor about having gender reassignment surgery. Oh, Lord.
Oh, no.
Like, I will not say that getting a transgender procedure is as bad as pedophilia, is just as traumatizing as pedophilia, but it's still like along the same lines of why we do not let it happen or why we don't want to let it happen is because the kid is not old enough to consent. His brain is not, his or her brain is not developed enough for them to make these life-changing decisions like having sex, getting a transgender procedure, drinking alcohol, shooting a gun, and so on and so forth, driving a car.
Exactly.
Voting.
It's like you have to, just like with all those sort of things, you have to wait until you have the mental capacity to realize the full extent of this kind of thing.
Okay, but we're told it was best to allow Desmond develop naturally and to explore his tastes in clothing, toys, and activities for himself. Okay, yes, I agree with the later half of that paragraph. I mean, I'm not against transgenderism myself as a libertarian, excuse me, but I have to say that if a kid is like thinking, if a kid really is thinking about his gender, well, then at least give him time to really think about it before there is some final decision made that we are going to make physical altercations or
Yeah, because they might.
alterations, not altercations, alterations.
Yeah, because they might end up regretting it and fucking up the rest of their life.
What the fuck is wrong with them? Isn't that medically unethical? Says Red Feather. I would say. Personally, I would say that it is. I mean,
Yeah.
having kids participate in sex, voting, driving a car, shooting a gun, or getting a transgender procedure. The boy's family continued to him dress in drag, and he was featured in 2014 in a music video with drag celebrities RuPaul and Jinx Monsoon when he was 7 years old. Images and videos of him went viral in don't adjust on me, website. Don't do that. Images and videos of him went viral in 2015 when he appeared in New York's gay pride event wearing a rainbow tutu and sparkled gold beret. Ugh. When the police, in my personal opinion, that just sounds disturbing, but the kid can do whatever he wants. As far as dressing like a girl.
Yeah.
With Napoles being crowned as the youngest member of New York's longtime Vogue dance house iconic House of Ultra Omni. His parents say they hope he will one day have his own fashion and cosmetics line with the right guidance. Napoles refers to himself a drag kid as opposed to a drag queen, with the explanation that the term drag queen should only refer to adults. Okay, maybe there's a bit of a point to there. I will give him that. But hopes his new term will catch on and encourage other children to follow in his footsteps. Why do you want to encourage kids? Okay, I mean, again, it comes back to the whole encourage. I can't even remember where the paragraph is, but in an earlier paragraph, okay, I'm getting some background noise.
Yeah, it's Aspie.
Hey, Darkon!
What's up, Aspie? We are reading some cancer right here, the type of cancer that you go reading on your streams from Everyday Feminism.
I really want to do that again. I might have another stream tonight.
Okay, well, you have fun with that. I'll be at dinner with my parents by then. But this is from a website called Neon Nettle, and they're talking about transgender children dating sites.
Transgender children.
Here, 10-year-old transgender boy is
You're on
starting a
dating.
dating site for dating website for trans children.
We need another, like the meme says, we need another fucking crusade. Yeah, we need another Duke's Vault. We need another fucking crusade. Okay,
It's
this has gone too
Deus
far.
Vault, not Duke's Vault.
It's
What the
Deus.
fuck?
No,
It's
Deus Vault. Deus Vault.
Yes.
All right, Deus Vault. We need another.
I think it's spelled like Deus Vult.
What does Deus Vault mean?
I honestly don't know.
I'll look
Might be
it
a
up.
Latin term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is Latin.
All right, so anyway, Napoles came out as gay last year after being a longtime advocate for LGBTQ issues. The Daily Mail
Okay, I
report
found
said.
it. It means God wills.
God wills.
Dude, the sound in your background is horrible.
Yeah, that's giving me more cancer than this article almost. Almost.
All right, I'm done.
We got the remaster here. I forgot. Anyway, his parents say their son is not yet sexually active. Well, thank God.
Thank God. How old is this kid?
10.
Let's see, 10. 10 years old.
10 years old. Probably not even in puberty yet. What the?
Yeah, this is January 2018, so this is fairly recently. Likely the kid is still like 10 or maybe 11, maybe just recently. Okay. He, she, whatever the fuck.
It.
Whatever it wants to be called.
LMAO, is someone using the electric dildos as red feather?
I really hope nobody from the Poor Bastards chat sees this.
Yeah, we'll get called transphobic and all that kind of stuff.
They call me transphobic. I just go, yep.
I'll be
I
like,
don't
whatever
care
you
anymore.
say.
You're all like, you give up on trying to challenge them on that accusation, right?
Am I scared of the destruction of Western society? Yes, I am. And this is one of the paths to it.
S-Man, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I just got back from Labor Day picnic. My dad works at a labor union every year. I get to go to those, and I got a really fucking awesome hat and some other cool shit. And I just got back. A relative of mine has heart problems, so we had to take her home. But she's doing all right. It's not unexpected, but she's okay, and I'm kind of glad you guys are still alive to talk to y'all. So, what the hell's going on here?
We're talking about transgender kids, or transgender kids starting his own dating site.
So
transgender kids dating site. So it's cancerous.
I don't agree with the idea of letting kids transition, but that's a whole different issue there.
We already went over that, and we agree with you as well.
Okay.
Seriously, Aspie, holy shit!
What the hell is that noise?
It's Aspie's electric dildo.
No, it's a swing. My backyard swing.
His sex swing.
Sex. Screw you.
What the fuck are you? 6 years old? Aren't you too old for the swing?
I'm autistic. Remember, it makes me feel. I like.
Oh yeah, I forgot your brain isn't that mentally.
Yeah.
Shut up, JJ.
You got the mental capacity of a 6-year-old because of your autism.
Got it.
I like that ending.
We gotta clip this and just say, Aspie got triggered.
You know what I do? I gotta clip the whole reading of this article. But anyway, as I was wanting to catch S-Man up to speed on this, this is an article that War Corps had shared and responded to on Twitter that one time, and then Google it retweeted that in response and said, "You transphobe" or something like that, because War Corps thought that this opened the door to pedophilia. I was thinking to myself, The most that you could call it, I mean, you're being off base, War Corpse. The most you could call is that opens the door for child pornography. But pedophilia, that's going way too far. And then Red Feather brought up the point that maybe adults can like hide behind fake avatars and start, preying on all these trans kids. And yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then I don't think any children's website should be.
They don't
allowed.
have children dating
Children's
websites.
dating site.
They don't have children dating sites for normal children. Why should the
Oh,
train?
yeah.
Why do the?
Well, I wouldn't say normal. I just say cisgendered kids.
Yeah. You're gonna get called transphobe if you think that cisgendered is
the only
normal.
child
Transgender not normal.
The only child dating websites that exist are the ones that exist that you need to go into the Tor web browser to get to, because you can't get it because they're on the deep web.
Oh, fuck!
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were like on the deep web. But anyway, yeah. I mean, with what Red Feather said earlier, much earlier, saying that adults can hide behind fake avatars to prey on these trans kids. With that argument, well, then no children's dating site should be allowed at all.
There shouldn't be dating sites for anyone under 18, period.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I totally agree with that. So Google It was being off base in her response to War Corpse. I'm
Google It
sorry,
was being Google It.
but this is co-host specific. I've said this before, but Strike Force's co-host specific streams. But anyway,
Google It was just being Google It as usual.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of miss Google It because usually she makes an ass out of herself. It's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, it is kind of funny, but I can't see it anymore due to my dumb ass.
Also, not gonna lie, I thought it was fucking funny when Aspie was all saying Google was hot as fuck, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen her face too. She's pretty hot. Cult of Ham wants a link.
I like I said in response to him already that
I didn't see that.
I've already said it before that Strike Force is co-host specific, and I don't have you on the co-host podcast yet, Cult of Ham. Like, and also
He blocked Humane Mind.
Shocker.
Well, I don't have a Humane Mind as a co-host either. I mean, I don't think I'm going to like ever. Well, actually, anytime soon, anyways. Unless there's like a massive personality shift with either Humane Mind or Cult of Ham. I'm not gonna anytime soon have either of them as part of the co-host, because both of them in their own right are just too hot-headed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No offense, Cult of Ham, but it's just the truth.
He can be a bit much.
Ham.
Hey,
Ham.
S-Man, have you ever heard him? Have you ever heard Google Its real voice?
No, that's the weird. Okay, I think maybe once. Like, I had an off-air hangout with her because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with DarkCon? And I kind of got annoyed because when I tried to speak, then I hear fucking Google Translate playing, so I just said, knock that shit off. I want to hear I'm not recording this. I just want to hear just talk, damn it. And then I can't remember how exactly it sounds, but it was really unexpected. Like, I did not expect her voice to sound like that. It sounded kind of Midwestern-ish, but because she would tell me that she's not from what state she's currently in. She's from the Midwest, and I'm like,
oh, so you did have like an off-air Google Hangouts talk with her.
Yeah, but it was like very briefly because I had to tell her to speak up a few times because it'd be hard to hear her.
Didn't she say that she refuses to talk on the internet because she has like a massive stutter or something?
Yeah, I kind of forgot that. So I would just tell her, take a deep. I actually gave her some advice because I heard Joe Biden, how he got over his stutter was he would just study his facial movements. As when you speak, you have facial movements. He'd study them and he'd have himself read or recite these really complicated ass poems.
He should have gave that advice to Barack Obama.
If that was so fucking
yeah. If there's like a remix of that too.
I love that so much. I saw that, I was dying.
But he
I actually saw a video of a guy stuttering like really bad. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, okay, so Cult of Ham in the chat says, no, it just got too annoying after a while with Humane pulling the hashtag personal responsibility on Zoe. Ugh, Joe Biden, says
Okay,
Red Feather.
okay, we aren't going to talk about that, and you guys know what I mean by that. But
Yeah, at least not on stream.
I'm going to later today. I'm going to do a reaction video to one of Kraut's new videos, and see how much I can kick up.
Okay. So
Probably not
anyway,
a lot.
continuing on with this website. His parents say they hope he will one day have his own fashion and cosmetics line with the right guidance. Okay. Pursue your dreams, kid, but more specifically when you're an adult.
Yeah.
Police refers to himself. Or wait, did I? Yeah, I already read that paragraph right there. But
kid, not a drag queen.
But as I said earlier, I mean, earlier in the paragraph, I mean, I'm gonna have to like. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot now myself, but I'm gonna have to like send you the link, S-Man, for you to like read this in an S-Man live or something to review it. But
what about are you sure the person who didn't make this website is Lactasia?
I mean, that looks a lot like Lactasia.
Whoever names their kid that, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah, they didn't name her that. That's his That's his alter ego, drag queen alter ego's Lactasia.
That's still a fucking stupid name.
It is.
Yeah. There's probably going to be a drag queen superhero in the near future.
The only person that should nick themselves Lactasia is somebody with huge ass titties.
Precisely.
And then a big black woman named Bonquisha.
Oh my fucking god, JJ.
There is actually a black woman who got her kid taken away because she tried to name her kid Chlamydia.
What? Chlamydia?
Yeah, chlamydia.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and chlamydia is a STD, and it's a
Hi, chlamydia.
Hey, Cult of Ham says in the chat, JJ Skinner confirmed racist.
Oh my god, we need to make a smear campaign. I'm gonna subtweet about you on Twitter, JJ, you fucking white supremacist.
No. He's a mixed supremacist. We need to get more people of different races to marry each other so that we can have the mixed race supremacy agenda.
You're not gonna make another Twitter account, JJ?
I might in a year because I'll be going to college and I'll possibly have a new IP by then.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, I keep on getting sidetracked here. But as I was trying to say, why are you trying to encourage other kids to be trans people? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, do you feel that lonely out there in the world to the point that you need cisgender kids who accept their cisgenderism to join you in your transgenderism? Like, do you feel that lonely out in the world, kid?
Yeah, there's two types of trans people in this world. There's people who genuinely feel gender dysphoria, and
transsexuals.
And people who feel when they get to college, all of a sudden they hear something from their gender studies professor, and they think they can, just change their gender. And
I'm gender fluid now.
Yeah,
man.
and
it was a gender bender.
Yeah, and
gender bender.
Yeah, kind of like ContraPoints, just somebody who hears it in college and thinks that, and all of a sudden they think they can now go through with their they can just change their gender out of nowhere.
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I kind of give ContraPoints the benefit of the doubt because I watched the interview that she had with Sargon of Akkad, and it seems like a decent enough of a human being. So I respect her, I say.
I would say gender studies needs to be made illegal.
Last night I was on the weekend.
But that's just me.
Last night I was on the weekend chimp out, and Naked Ape was just laughing at some tweets that because frankly she relies on her audience for emotional support. Yeah, and Naked Ape was just laughing at that, and I kind of agree with them. I mean, you shouldn't be relying on your audience for emotional support. Get some like real friends and stuff. I mean, and then she's just. She's just.
Just seeing the chat here. Cult of Fam says yes, otherwise you're transphobic. I do not know what he's saying in response to that, but he also says, start that fetus on hormone pills now.
What did he say? What did he say in totality? Did he say something about me being a transphobe?
I don't know. I think he was just mocking I think he was just mocking leftists in response to something that we said. I don't know what. Anyway,
Leftists going after leftists. Amazing.
What they can't
What?
what you can't put them on fetuses on pills because they're not people yet, at least according to Owen, that is.
All right. His parents say
That fetus will be on soy, Aspie. He'll find a way. If there's a will,
It'll
there's
be
a
a
way.
soy fetus, not a soy boy.
Soy fetus.
Soy they them, you fucking transphobe.
Okay, so okay, you have to accept this boy's transgearism. I think he meant to spell transgenderism. Otherwise, you're transphobe. Transphobe.
A Terransphobe.
I don't know. But anyway, now his parents say their son is not yet sexually active, and I said thank God to that earlier, but
He couldn't get a woman off.
But say soon he will have reached the age where sexual relations are appropriate or discussed explicitly. Like, what do you mean by soon he will have reached the age? Like, I hope you mean 16 or preferably 18 or 16 at least.
16
Actually,
at least, yeah. 15, you're pushing the envelope. Maybe it's not even then because they're still too young.
Okay, actually, I'm going to clarify that it's one thing for you to be talking about sexuality, but
Exactly.
it's an entirely different thing if you're saying that you got to push this kid to explore his own sexuality.
You know,
at 16.
Did anybody remember how it went down when your parents gave you the talk?
I never had the talk.
I cannot remember what age exactly it is that I had the talk. Red Feather says in the chat in response to soy-filled fetuses, soybees.
Soy babies.
I'm still loving that song. I'm still loving that line. Call yourself a soy-filled bitch.
Cultafam said, "Y'all gonna do a post-stream hangout? I'll join that."
I'll host a stream ham if you want. Just DM me and if you want. If y'all want to join, I can do it.
I'll probably join after I take out the trash.
Maybe I'll join, but I was also kind of want to like do some.
Yes, Owen is involved in that.
I was probably going to do a stream later tonight.
All right. He told Out Magazine. He told Out Magazine last fall his advice for other kids was to ignore parental concerns about gender transitioning and suggested running away from home if parents are not supportive. Oh, God. Saying if you don't like me, I'm going to leave. Okay, this is that Lactatia kid that Gemini and many other YouTubers wanted to a few months back.
That name I will never ever get over. Anyone who'd be dumb enough to call themselves that, Lactatia, honestly, they should never ever reproduce, and they should never ever ever ever, be exposed to the outside world, or else they're gonna crumble.
So not only is this kid advocating for pushing cisgendered kids to transition, but also pushing for rebelliousness against their parents and disobedience.
And also running away and possibly getting, put into a
Deus Vult!
Exactly. Yes, Aspie. And again, I would have to oh, fuck. Quit doing that website. It keeps on wanting to refresh on me.
Momo, don't you fucking dare look at me like that.
But anyway, we got the 3 more paragraphs to go, so let's power through it. Napoleon told kids if they feel suicidal, don't commit because there is always love in the world. There are a lot of people like you, and my motto is be yourself always. The House of Amazing dating website and phone apps remain in production from last October, with more information to be forthcoming, though Napoleon does have a website, Instagram account, and Facebook page. Napoleon sent out a message to his haters via his Instagram account, which is run by his mother, saying he will secure in who he was, and they will not change or shame him. You mean nothing to me, he said. You are like a fly I shoo away. End of article. Eesh, that took a while because we kept on talking about all sorts of side tangents.
And Lactatia.
So Colt Ham.
Lactatia. I remember watching. There should be. They should use Lactatia in a meme. Put a picture of her and use that Crusade meme where it's just at the very end is that Crusader just seeing Lactatia turning to the side and going, We need a fucking crusade.
So even better, they have like the evolution thing at the bottom says, "We fucked up. Go back."
So
That'd
Coltaham
be better.
says. So Coltaham says Darky Khan powers through that boy's hole.
Oh, no.
Jesus fucking
If
What did
you
he say?
feel
What did he
suicidal-
say?
Are
What'd
there,
he say?
are there going to be constant pedophilia jokes involving me now?
What did he say?
After you did that one fucking thing on the stream, you opened the door, bitch.
What happened? What did he say? What did he say?
Oh God, Cult of Ham also said, "We need to teach 10-year-olds the art of fisting."
Oh my gosh, Cultaham, you have no
He
No
has
filter.
The only filter he'll use is probably a condom.
My mic is better than Darky Cunt's. Fuck you, it is. Cult of Ham, bitch.
I really want
Red
to say.
Feather says, "Oh no, they're teching." She meant teaching sex ed to 10-year-olds, including trans stuff and safe anal sex.
Red Feather says, I feel bad for making fun of the kid, though. It's not his fault. His parents are fucked in the head. Jeez, Aspie.
Dude, turn off your fucking electric dildo.
Aspie, we get it. You like having a human fucking robot
Don't worry,
He
I
just
finished.
came.
after his fucking robot pegged him.
Okay, so anyway.
Fucking machine.
All right,
I
let me
think-
clean up and I'll be right back.
Actually, we're probably going to end off the stream here pretty soon, Aspie, just to let you know, so...
Hashtag dildo abuse from Red Feather.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Red
need.
Feather.
I need the entire tissue box. Give me a second.
Oh my good God, he's just digging himself a deeper hole.
Like his robot did to him.
Yes, fuck machine.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, this has this has been Strike Force. We have oh man, we have reviewed the Chemnitz protests. We did not get enough information, as much as I would have liked to anyways. We talked about the Birmingham shooting that ended up in people only getting injured and not killed, so there's that at least. There's
Yeah.
a Muslim American woman who has unrightfully had her phone seized and the data copied from it. And Senate Republicans being spineless to Democrats. And we just got done reading that bit of article that was probably the funnest of this show. That was about the 10-year-old transgender kid on the push for a trans kid dating site.
Cult of Ham
Yeah.
said,
Serious,
Dark-
but it was fun.
Cult of Ham said Darky Khan is a pedo, Aspie loves his vibrator, and JJ is a racist transphobic potato.
He called Brandon an Asian potato a few days
Cult
ago.
of Fame, I am going to ban you from my chat if you keep on saying shit like that.
Eventually, one of these days we will see him One of these days we'll see him live when he gets the camera.
Then we can call him a potato, and I am what I eat, so I do eat a lot of potatoes.
I've seen pictures of him. He looks like every single atheist YouTuber ever.
I saw what he looked like when he actually he actually groomed his facial hair. He didn't look too bad in all honesty. He finally stopped being a bitch and he actually just shaved his head bald.
Okay, I'm going to be serious though right now. I mean, just because I dug myself in that hole, that one abortion stream, I don't want this to be continued on with this whole pedo jokes involving me, because people will take that seriously and it will get it'll just get out of hand.
Yes, it will.
So please
Yeah,
no.
fair enough.
Cult
Please
of Ham said,
no,
yes, I
Ham.
totally look like TJ Kirk.
So
In the future, when I become an accountant, I hope none of the people I work with ever see any of these streams.
I honestly think that, Darkon just said no. That's a word that's foreign to him. There, I made a fucking joke at him, so now everyone can chill. Aspie, turn your fuck robot off. God damn it.
Yes, seriously, you already came once. You can't come again.
Sorry, I forgot to turn it off.
He's probably nutting again.
The internet never forgets. Very true.
Just had to stretch there. But anyway, that was the news today. I will send the link of the one trans kid website. I'll send that to. What the fuck? Why did S-Man leave?
Either his internet cut out, he left because the stream was about to end.
Okay. But also, hey, by the way, I'll probably like put this announcement in a video. But guys, check out my my gaming channel. I set up an official gaming channel. I have it in my featured channels in my main channel page. So
I'll be sure to subscribe to it. Subscribe.
yeah, it's titled Dark Con Gaming. I have only one video on it so far, but I will like probably be uploading more and more Overwatch gameplay videos, like little short under 15-minute games. I don't think I have the ability to stream on that channel yet, so there's that. But anyway, I am so guys, anything you want to say before we go off air?
Transgender kids are a mistake.
And JJ likes trannies.
And you like your robotic dildo.
Yes, I do.
Yep, okay. S-Man, clip that shit.
Anyway, I am the Dark Conservatarian. This has been Strike Force. We'll see you all later, and God bless.